So I'm checking my phone right now, and it says that I have 962 views. That's amazing. And right now my highest viewed video is the Injustice 2 video that I said in tips and guides to complete legendary multiplayer requirements and Injustice 2.
Looked like something big was going down on top of the Avengers mansion earlier. Think it had anything to do with that
So
massive
that's amazing,
basement in the
guys. I just
sky?
want to say thank y'all.
Nah, probably unrelated.
I'm almost to 1,000 views, and my family said that, hey yo, we found an ad in your video. So that's amazing. Thank y'all. So now the review. I'm playing as in 2099 because there's no original Green Goblin. So anyway, Spider-Man 2002. This is a movie that when I watched, sorry, I had to put it like that because I want to because I want everybody to like hear my voice clearly. I don't know if y'all heard it. I don't know if y'all heard my voice like before I changed it, but I'm wearing this on my mono headset and it's really loud, so sorry if like you were like, hey, I can't hear nothing in the game. Sorry, it's just that in my headset it gets too loud. So anyway, to the review. So Spider-Man 2002 was a movie that I used to watch so much when I was a little kid. Like, this is probably like my, like, Spider-Man 2, whenever my dad got it from like a Walmart, like, this is a movie I like never stopped, like I never stopped watching. Like, I was mad addicted to that movie. It wasn't on Spanish, and it wasn't on Spanish, but I could clearly see what they were saying. That sounds weird. There.
That ruffian made off with old Granny Haggardly's blue.
So anyway, yeah. My family speaks Spanish, normally speaks Spanish. They speak English too, but it's a language that we haven't figured out yet. But I was mad addicted to Spider-Man 2002, like when I was like 3 years old. And it's a movie I still love to this day because that movie made my childhood. From being a all-time Spider-Man fan. Like, I have action figures of Spider-Man. Not when the movie came out because the movie came out because the movie came out way before I was born. And right now I'm trying to save up money to get the Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker figure from Sentinel, which looks really amazing. So I've been a devoted Spider-Man fan ever since like watching that movie. So I'm gonna go with like the positives of the movie. The positives of the movie is it's nostalgia to me. Every time I watch it, I feel like I'm like 3-year-old me again, watching the movie, probably with my cousins, and just having an amazing fun time. Another thing that I like about this movie is Sam Raimi. So after like when I was like 10 years old, I wanted to do some development on who Sam Raimi was. The only other Sam Raimi movie that I watched besides the Spider-Man movies were the Oz the Great and Powerful. Didn't think it was good. And then I saw that he made a horror movie franchise called The Evil Dead. And last year I watched it. And right now it's my favorite movie of all time. Because I don't know about y'all, but I have a really soft spot for B horror movies. I like how they don't use CGI and they use practical effects. Like for this one, they use a lot of practical effects and homemade blood, and also the production trouble that went into the movie. Man, it sucked. Also, Bruce Campbell has become one of my favorite actors of all time. And speaking of Bruce Campbell, the cameos in the trilogy are pitch perfect. In the first movie, he was the guy that said, hey kid, what's your name? Hey, kid, what's your name? Oh yeah, my name is the Human Spider. Human Spider, that's it. That's a idiotic name." And then he changed it to Spider-Man. So without Bruce Campbell in that movie, he would have been the Human Spider. So Bruce Campbell in that movie, another reason why it's amazing. I'm adding a point for every movie in the trilogy, just because Bruce Campbell's in that movie. Bruce Campbell's in that movie. Another thing that I liked is that they stay true to the comics. Like, they don't try to change anything, you know. Like, oh, instead of Mary Jane, it's Gwen Stacy. You know, they they put Mary Jane in it because that was the very first love interest that Peter had in the comic books. And it was really cool that they put Mary Jane in it, and Kirsten Dunst plays the role magnificently in that movie. Also, the acting in this movie is honestly, in my opinion, pretty good. I mean, it's not the best acting that I've seen, but it's still solid, you know. And I think the best actor that I've seen in this movie and many other movies is Willem Dafoe. Just every single time Willem Dafoe's in a movie, like, he plays that role pitch perfect. I mean, in No Way Home, when I saw it in theaters, I was amazed with like how Willem Dafoe still plays the Goblin so menacingly after 19 years, merely almost 20 years after playing the Goblin, which is amazing. Another reason why I like this movie, the costume. The Sam Raimi costume has to be probably the best Spider-Man costume that I've seen in my life. Like, the design of it, the metal webs, like the eye lenses, the spider emblem, it's all beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, if someone sent me a suit, a Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit, like exactly how it looked like, I will cry because how beautiful it looks. Another thing, Tobey Maguire. I think people say that Tobey Maguire is, I heard people say that Tobey Maguire's acting in this movie is kind of off. I mean, it kind of fits to it because Peter's supposed to play this quirky high school teenager, and it kind of fits. You know what I'm saying? Like he acts like his acting is all dorky in the movie, kind of like almost as dorky as how a high school student could be. You know? And another thing that I like about this movie is that this movie is like kind of slow, so you can know the characters. Like, it takes like 20 minutes for Peter to get bitten by a spider, and in 15 minutes you already know who he is. Oh, he's dorky, he's smart, he gets bullied a lot, you know, so that's who he is. And then once he gets bitten by that spider, he first uses it as for money to impress Mary Jane, and then Uncle Ben says with great power comes great responsibility. And then, he gets shot and all that. And then and another thing that I like about this movie is when Peter kills the criminal that killed Uncle Ben, he doesn't feel satisfied. Like, he it's a really touching scene where Peter regrets doing what he did. He's not just crying because his Uncle Ben is gone. He's also crying because he did something so horrible. And I really like it. So yeah, acting in this movie is really brilliant. And now I'm gonna go with my cons in this movie. Yeah, not every movie is perfect. I may love this movie, but it's not without its flaws. My flaw with this movie is, yeah, it gets kind of corny in this movie. Some of the dialogue in this movie is not the best you see in a comic book movie, because right now they're so serious. You got movies like the Batman, like the Dark Knight trilogy, which I will review after reviewing the Spider-Man trilogy. After the Spider-Man reviews, with Infinity War, with like the whole Thanos like wins at the end, the Avengers don't, and then Endgame being like sacrifice, like a sacrifice made to save the world. Back then, superhero movies were like corny, because I don't think anyone could take a comic book seriously. So that's one of my biggest issues with the movie, the dialogue, which is something that superhero movie parodies. Superhero movie is a spoof movie of that movie and other superhero movies by the guys that made Scary Movie. I think so. So yeah, I don't recommend superhero movie. Not because they make fun of the movie, because it's just not good. But I'm not reviewing superhero movie, I'm reviewing Spider-Man. Another thing that I don't like about this movie is the CGI is kind of outdated, because I get it, it's 2000s, they didn't have a lot of money. And like the scene where Peter like goes back to his wrestling outfit and climbs the walls, it looks kind of iffy. So that's another reason why I'm deducting points from this movie. Another reason why I deduct a point from this movie is because sorry, I had to clear my throat. Another reason why I'm deducting a point from this movie is that I feel like the Green Goblin shouldn't have been like the first villain in the movie, in my opinion. Sorry. I mean, some people say like the Green Goblin is pitch perfect, but I think really, you know what? Screw it. You know what? No, that's not one of my deduction points. I feel like the Green Goblin is a perfect villain. You know what? Add that. The Green Goblin is a perfect villain. Not just because Willem Dafoe's acting in this movie is brilliant as the Green Goblin. I feel like the role was meant for Willem Dafoe. So yeah, for those who have been pissed off by saying the Green Goblin shouldn't have been the first villain, don't click off the video, please, because I already denied it. And also because I really like how they went. Like, they should have been like, oh, Spider-Man defeats the Green Goblin, goes to jail, the Green Goblin is sorry. They straight up killed the Green Goblin, as like Peter feeling guilty, and for Harry blaming Spider-Man for all that happened, which is in my opinion a really mature storyline. Like, you have this dude who accidentally killed his best friend's father, and he knows he's killed it, but his best friend doesn't know who he is yet. Like, dude, that's kind of sad. Like, that's kind of sad and kind of mature for like a comic book movie. And seeing that this was like the first comic book movie to like ever succeed, I hope a lot of people will actually like recognize that having a best friend murder his best friend's dad, and he knows he's done it, but his best friend doesn't, and trying to keep it a secret because superhero stuff, like, that's kind of messed up, but it kind of fits, you know. Another reason why this movie is amazing: J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, amazing actor, loved him in Whiplash, and in this movie he just takes himself so damn seriously. Not seriously, but in a comedic way. Every time he's in a scene, in any scene in the trilogy, it just gives me like a smile to my face. Man, I love J.K. Simmons, not just as an actor, but in these movies as well. But my verdict. And my verdict, I'm gonna say that its cons are also its pros. This is a movie that you should not take seriously because it was the first comic book movie. I mean, you can take it seriously if you want, but this is not a movie that was meant to be like taken that seriously. It's a movie devoted for comic book fans, and it should stay as that. A movie devoted to comic book fans. Not just devoted to, and it can also be viewed by critics and people, you know. But I feel like the most people who are gonna like it are either people who love comic books in general, or Spider-Man in general, or just people who love superhero movies. So my verdict of this movie, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I would recommend watching this movie. If you and your friends are bored to not watch a movie, if you and your friends are bored on Netflix trying to watch a good movie, go watch Spider-Man 2002. You shouldn't take it seriously. You'll just have an amazing blast with this movie. So that's it. That's Spider-Man 2002 review. Reviewed by me, Agent 3. Don't ask me why that is my username, and I'll never answer why. See ya.